All right, I believe so. So I am going to delete our Dynamics VM now, because if I don't delete it, I might forget and then it will cost me a whole lot of money. So the next part that we're going into is we want to see uh how we can deploy a VM using uh the Azure Cloud Share, right? So I told you that different ways, but I'm just going to use the portal and also the Azure Cloud Share, right? So this part is called the Cloud Share. So this is Azure Cloud Share, right? So if you're comfortable, after you're comfortable using these parts, the portal, the next thing you should be able to do is to be able to use the Cloud Share to provision your VM or any resource that you want. Okay. What I did was I came here and then I clicked, right, and it opened this for me. So what this is currently using, the Azure Cloud Share is using currently using the context of a bash share. So you can see bash here, right? So if I want to use PowerShell, I can just use PowerShell, but right now I'm using bash. So I'm going to use the Azure CLI. So Azure CLI is Azure Command Line Interface 2. It means that I'm using Azure command line on this terminal right now. So I can use it to do whatever I want to do instead of me clicking and clicking all around. So first thing that I want to do is to clear this part. So I need to delete that resource group that I talked about, because if I don't delete it, I might forget and it will cost me a lot of money, right? So I'm going to open this so you see something. So we can see I have this dynamics, right? I want to delete that. So I am just going to use AG group list. I want to first of all list all my available resource groups. So I'm listing all my available resource group. So this is the resource group that I created that hosted our VM the other time. And also this one, I don't need these two. So I'm going to first of all delete the one that has the resources because I don't need it. So I'm just going to say Azure group, delete. The name of the resource group that I want to delete is Dynamics VM. So I'm just going to paste that. It's going to ask me if I want to delete. Yes, I want to delete it. So it's going to take some time to delete this resource group. It's taking time to delete it because, first of all, it deletes the VM, it deletes the network interface, it deletes the virtual network, it deletes the disk, it deletes the all the resources that was inside, and then finally delete the resource group itself. So as it's going on, it's deleting those parts little by little, right? So normally, if I'm using the portal, this is what I'm going to do. First of all, click here. First of all, click. It's going to load. Then I'll click delete the source group. Then I'll copy this one. Then I'll say put this here. Then I'll paste this here. Then I'll delete. But if I'm using the this, all I have to do is just use this simple command line, and I will delete that, right? So it's faster once you're using the terminal. Is always faster for you. So the more you grow on your cloud engineering journey, the lesser you use the portal, right? The portal is basically good for just one-off tasks, right? Not repeatable tasks. right? So for instance, what I mean is that if I want to create a lot of VMs, let's say I'm very, very experienced right now and I want to create, my boss say my company needs me to create 100 VMs. I don't have to use the portal to create 100, go and create one VM, two VM, three VM, four. What I have to do is to use a more sophisticated infrastructure as a service tool. Let's say for instance, like Terraform or Azure Biceps, Azure ARM to deploy 100 VM at a go once with just one line of Terraform or other commands. But those are advanced stuff, right? So it's good as you're growing that you start using the command line interface. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time, right, to delete because it has a lot of stuff here. As you can see, it has this, it has the VM, it has this, the public IP address, it has network security group, it has the VNet, it has this, I mean, okay, and so you can see that we are done deleting this now, right? So how do I know? I can come back and check again and it won't be here. You can see that it's no longer here. And if you adapt, I can come here and refresh. It's going to give me a problem. It's going to tell me that, hey, this doesn't exist. Okay, it's telling me that it's still deleting on the surface. Why actually is gone. That's deleted. Because when we look at this, so what this actually is telling you is that this terminal is way faster than the UI, right? It actually done on the back end that's deleted, but the UI is still seeing it's still in the state called deleting, right? So if I refresh this, let me refresh the browser and see if we're going to get this. So it's telling you that the resource is no longer found, right? Because we already deleted it from here. We deleted it already. So Bash I just restarted. All right, so let me go back, and the next one we're going to do is that we want to create a VM using the command line interface, right? Using the command line interface. So I'm using Bash for that now. Come on. I'm using Bash for that. So we're going to create a VM. A second. Okay. So once you want to create a VM, right? One of the first things that you would like to do, that you would need to do, is to first of all have a plan of what you want to create. Like have a plan of how the name of your VM, the location of the VM, what's going to be the username of the VM, the image that you want to use. You need to know those stuff before you start creating a VM. And if you've ever done any type of programming before, if you've ever worked with any maybe Linux environments, you would understand, or even Windows environments, you will understand the concept of variables. You understand global variables and local variables, right? So global variables are also environment variables. So you need to be able to create those stuffs in order for you to automate. Because once you're using command line, it's more like you're using an automation to create something, right? So you need to know those stuffs. So right now, some of the things that we can do off our head is, for instance, say I know the name that I want to use for my resource group. I'm going to call that name, let's say something like Dynamics Consult Resource Group. I know the name that I want to call my VM. Let's say that name is going to be Dynamics Linux VM, and the user is going to be Dynamics admin. Another thing again, but I need to know the image. So sometimes you might not know the name of the image at all. So you might have to have that in your head. Let's say you want to create a Linux VM, right? You want to create a Linux VM. You need to know the name of the VM that you want to create, so that once you're writing your CLI script, you'll be able to just copy that name, or rather you're able to add that name to your script as well, so that it makes it very easy for you. So you're going to see what I am talking about in a couple of minutes from now. Going to just give me a second. I want to open up my notepad. Okay. So first of all, one of the good things to do is, instead of, because once you're writing, is always good that you have your it's always good that you have, like, you write on particular, maybe Word, Notepad, and then transfer to the to this share, right? So because it makes it neat, it makes it easy for you, right? So I can just let me get a couple of stuffs. I can take something like this. Just a second. So right now I'm trying to create environment variables, right? So I'm going to call this environment. I'm going to create an environment variable in Linux. Use the export command, and once you see this capital letter, it means that these are environment variables, also known as global variables, right? So the name of my resource group is going to be Dynamics Consort, right? And the region that I want to deploy this resource group is going to be East US, right? And my username, the VM name is going to be Dynamics Linux VM, and the username is going to be Dynamics admin. Okay. Okay, so right now I also need to be able to have I need to know the image that I want to deploy. So I need to set for that. So one way that I can be able to get the list of VMs that I want, especially if I want to deploy a Linux VM, is to use the Azure command to say something like easy VM list. I can say list offer to be image, because I'm looking for image. I can say list offer to be let's say Ubuntu. Let's deploy an Ubuntu server. Let's deploy Ubuntu. Okay. Let's Ubuntu. I think it's correct. Okay, so I think I spelled that wrongly. So let me do this. Okay, so he has already given me one. So let me put it in a very good way that it to be clearer. Okay, so this This is one of the VM that I would like to deploy. I can copy this one. I want to deploy this. I can copy it, then I'll clear my screen. I'll go back to my notepad. Where's my notepad? Then I can paste this here. Hey, so if I copy this now, if I copy this, I'm going to paste this inside my. So immediately I paste this, is going to start executing. So it has already exported all of these values now. So let me see if let's see region. Okay, yeah. So what this means is that anytime I use this word, this $ region is going to give me East US, and the same thing applies to when I use something like resource my. Just
Hi,
give me a
Richard.
second. Yeah.
Please, can you check your WhatsApp message?
Okay, yeah, I'm coming. Thank you. Okay. All right. So let's just hurry up and deploy this so that I'm just trying to take it easy, like step by step, so that we can understand, because I believe that we are kind of like let me say, like, is more introductory, so I don't want to be too fast. So after doing all of those stuff, the next thing we have to do is to create a resource group. So when we create the resource group, remember that you need a resource group so that you can put everything into that resource group. So one way that to create a resource group is to use Azure group. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit faster. So Azure group creates, I'm going to put the name of the resource group, and remember I already have my variable before. I already have my variable, which is called resource group name. So I'm going to put it in the same region, which is East US. I can put East US here. So this is going to create a resource group for me, right? It's going to create a resource group, right? So this resource group has already been created, and if I want to check that resource group, I can come here and say resource group list. Check if that resource group is here. Let's see. So this resource group that we just created is here. So I can go ahead to proceed to creating the VM. So I can go ahead now, and I'm going to be a little bit fast, but if you watch the video again, you're going to see those things that you're going to see and understand. And so I am going to paste the next stuff that I'm doing next. So yeah, this command is called easy create. This easy VM create means that I'm creating a new VM using these variables that I already created before, right? And one of the beautiful things is that I am using, I'm generating an SSH key. Remember, when we're using a Windows VM, what we did was RODP into that, but Linux uses port 22, so you need to use SSH to access it. So you need to generate an SSH key. That SSH key is going to go into a secure place in the VM in this terminal, so that it will be able to authenticate. There will be a handshake between the VM that I'm creating, and there'll be a trust between the portal, the terminal, and the VM that I'm creating. So once I run this right now, it will take some time, and then it will create the VM for me. So it's already creating that VM. So I'm going to take this down a little bit, and we're going to observe what is happening in this resource group that I just created. And we're going to see currently, you see that it just created an NSG, which is a network security group. And as we're monitoring it, you will see that as the deployment goes on, more resources are being added to it as well. Okay, so creating VMs like this, especially in Linux VM, takes some time. So this is actually going to take some time, and yeah, we can refresh now. I think it's done.